Hit the go live button there. Hit the go live button there. Boom, ba 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 ba. I think we should be good. Okay. What's up, folks? Welcome in, welcome in. Move that out of the way. Hope everyone has had a good week so far. I need to trim up a little bit. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Dragon Drake? What's up, Jay Fran? Piratey Steve. Hello, hello, hello. Pleasure as always, folks. It's going. Yo, what's up, Jay? One day, Jay, one day you're going to spell my name correctly with a V. It may not be today, but one day it's going to happen. Also, this all looks super messy back here. You guys need to fill the chat so all this stuff is hidden. Yeah, it was 90 degrees here today. It's 87 now at 8 p.m. So it's probably higher than 90. What's up, David? What's up, Better Sands? What's up, Edwin? Welcome in. What's up, Steven? Yo, what's up, Allie? Finally was able to catch it live, even if just for a minute. Hey, we'll take it. We'll take any time we can get. Welcome in, welcome in. Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. What's up, AKA? I almost, like, it's just dawning on me because of GenCon, I didn't do a stream last week. Like, I was kind of like, wait, why does this feel like it's been a while? And it's like, oh, that's why. I mean, we did like a post GenCon stream, but yeah. What's going on at Umbra? I don't either, David, because I had missed last week. So I also don't know what's going on, but we're here anyway. And then if we're pretty smoky here, sheesh. Is it because you're so hot? Sorry. Freaking double the smoke show. Hold on. Did I not? Where? Did I close it? No, it's right here. Why did I copy the wrong thing for my TikTok stream? My TikTok stream's not live. Okay. Let's try that again. Output error. Well, we might not be streaming to TikTok tonight, as it's having some problems. Maybe they changed that. 1 second. Ooh, I think they did. Maybe that's why. We shall try a second time. All right. Oh, I heard it. It's working. TikTok went and changed stuff on me. But now we're live. Okay, so we can close that, move that over there. All is right in the world. Back to the chat. Let's see. Oh, set that goal. Shout out to you for remembering that. Still melting at 2 a.m. How hot is it over there, Allie? Boise, Idaho is an ashtray. Double is in Oregon. Honestly, if I love Umbra 2, I'm just here because I like the chatter. That's totally fine. Totally fair. I'm down for you guys to hang out. We can talk normal Critical Role. We can talk meeting multiple cast members. All that stuff. All that stuff. Hold on. Let me scroll up because I know I missed something from you, Jay. Since you're hot on the interviews, are you setting your sights on Ed Greenwood, Joe, Professor DM, Matt, Mercer, Salvatore? I mean, I'd love to get all of them. I had an interesting thing trying to get an interview with Joe. Manganiel. What? I never say his last name right. We'll call him Joe Man. He's agreed to it, but then kind of disappeared and then agreed to it again. So we'll see how it goes. But the plan is to interview him. I also am in talks to, I don't know how much I want to give away. Let's just say there's several people in the pipeline. There are several people in the pipeline. So. There were too many of those $5 dice sets. Don't think of more than 5 sets. I have so many dice. I also ended up with a start playing dice from the start playing party at GenCon. So it's got their little logo on it, the little wizard hat right there. Got to start playing dice from that. And then the couple that I interviewed about the like, how did you get started playing D&D? This was one of their wedding dice, apparently. So they gave me a wedding dice. Thank you, Alejandria. Thank you. Now, several in the pipeline is people have said they will do it, whether or not they end up doing it, whether they back up, whether something comes up, right? That's another reason I don't want to say too much, because I have people who are like, yeah. And I'm in talks with somebody's PR representative because they told me to, all that sort of stuff. All right, Daniel with a $5 super chat says, what are we expecting in this week's episode? Do we think we get any PC deaths? Yes. I do. The party is split. Oh, what's up, Paul? When the heck is Campaign 4 back? On the 27th. 27th. We still got a ways to go, brother. Let me catch up on chat, because I know I saw some stuff. It was 97 in Poland. Jesus, Ali. Yeah, that's hot. But I put together a whole document of people I'd like to interview as well. And of course, Mercer was on there. Mulligan was on there. Lots of people were on there. Love the entry into the hobby interviews. I did as well. And some people had amazing stories, and not one of those did well on any platform. It wasn't one of those ones where like it did well on TikTok, but not Instagram, whatever. None of those interviews of me saying like, how did you get started in D&D? Every video did bad. And I thought for sure that was quality content. Like I thought for sure people would like those. No, that's how you just never know, man. You just never know. All right. Dungeon Masters week was pretty good. The live show was so good. The Dungeon Masters live show was so good. I'm excited for CR4 to return, or the return to the live plays. Yeah, they're doing a live show. Are you going to do live streams for a thing that somebody else is running for them? Yep. Yo, what's up? Yet it is. Still 86 with a 76 dew point here. Hope you had a great Gen Con. It was very good. AKA says, episode left off meeting a group called Dova, Minotaur Bear Lady. I'm like, I should be looking at this chat, but I'm looking over here. They follow a new god. The people have gifts that cause weird things to their bodies. Steven says, I'm still watching Umbra, but it's less exciting than C4. All right, hold on. I'm trying to catch up. Okay, there we go. The AoU gang is apparently in some trouble this week. The party has been split. Yeah, I saw them teasing that. What was the best conversation you had and change your perspective of your craft? Ooh, I had a lot of people support my craft. A lot of people kind of hyped me up because as a creator, again, sometimes you post stuff and it does bad and you're like, dude, am I not cut out for this? You know, is my stuff not good? And the number of people who unprovoked were like, hey man, I love your content, or your content's really good, or your voice and the way that you speak, your cadence for this, or your on-camera presence, or right, like Neil Newbin, like I went to introduce myself to Astarian's voice actor, and I walked up to do it, and he turned to me and was like, Nerdcore. And I was like, you know who I am. He follows me on Instagram, but still, to like actually be able to do that, I was like, whoa. And then he started complimenting me. On his own, was just like, yeah, I know your stuff. Like, your delivery's really good, your voice. And he talked about his dad being a sportscaster and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, this is mind blowing. So that was cool. Having like the guy who runs Start Playing kind of give me my flowers and say like, hey, we've seen a lot of your work, man, and it's good, and yada, yada, yada. Just, a lot of stuff like that was cool. Yeah, I don't know. Met people, had good conversations. I met every member of Dungeon Masters. So I met Devra, I met Christian, I met Theo, I met Mayana, all of them. Yeah, I hung out with Luis like 4 times. Luis Carazo, hung out with him like 4 times, spent a lot of time together talking. I met Robbie Daymond. I met Vico Ortiz from Age of Umbra. I met Zach from Age of Umbra, ZachTheBold. Yeah. So that's a long way to answer Alejandria. But I also came back, and like a day or 2 after I got back, I just got kind of hit with like this idea, and this isn't like the place for it, but this is also probably going to be a relatively dead pre-show because people have just fallen off with Age of Umbra, but that I want to do more. I feel like I've been pretty tame and timid, and if I really want this to be what I do for a living, because I'm scraping by, guys, like I'm scraping by. This isn't, I can't, at the level I can't keep doing this forever because there's no retirement. I'm not saving money. I'm not like, I am making enough to like live my life. And not luxuriously. So it's like I need to do more. I need to push harder. I come up with all these ideas of like different content I can do and different. And again, I don't want to spoil a lot of stuff. You guys will get something tomorrow. I teased it earlier with a little image in the Discord. But I have new stuff coming, repeat stuff coming, lots of new ideas for content and things to do. Interviews in the works. Whether or not again they come to fruition, we'll see. But I'm just kind of reinvigorated to push some stuff and get things going and become more, right? Become more. And without you guys knowing everything I'm working on, that doesn't really make sense, but there it is. All right, scrolling. I'm waiting on my Keyleth and Vexalia sets from series. Fax is still, so that's kind of crazy. It's still sold out. You met Robbie, right? How was that? He seemed, Robbie was super chill. Robbie was so cool. Like, he's just like a talkative, relaxed guy. I went, so I walked in and there were kind of some jokes being made. And then he was getting ready to leave. And I was just like, hey, man, I hate to do this, whatever, but like, could I get a picture? Because this year I decided I was going to talk to more people. I was going to get more pictures. I barely did anything at GenCon last year, right? I introduced myself to Matt Mercer briefly, and that was it. I didn't approach anybody else. And he was like, absolutely, man, this is what we're here for. So if you guys didn't see in the Discord, I posted a video. Because he took my phone and snapped like 3 or 4 pictures of us at different angles and then was like, what's your community called? And I was like, oh, I'm Nerdcore. And then I was like, oh, like we call them nerds? And then he was like, Nerdcore nerds, this guy's pretty cool, or whatever he said. So that was neat. And then later on, so he was leaving at that point. He came back like 2 hours later to the Start Playing party and like bummed a cig off of one of my buddies. And so we all were just standing out there talking for like 15 minutes. Not about like, about like Critical Role and other stuff, but just like, it was just like a group chat of people just talking about stuff with Robbie in it. And it was natural. He was super cool, super laid back. Robbie Daymond was cool. Might be wishful thinking, but I'm hoping for an eventual BLM interview. I would love Brennan. He's also probably the busiest of everybody. So that would be difficult, but I will definitely try. Sierra comes back on my birthday. Nice. Well, remind us when you come in for the pre-show. People hate people, I guess. I didn't mind those videos. Yeah, most people liked them. We had an overload of information. That's also true. I like the interview. Sorry they didn't do better. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I really thought they would do Bell, but they didn't. so I've also tried different things. Like I adjusted the beginning of them to where I didn't do my intro about I'm a Gen Con interviewing whatever. I cut it to like straight into the thing. Still didn't do better. I trimmed it down to just one person, so it's a much shorter video. Did like microscopically better, so I might try again and do some other ones. When is C4 back? On the 27th. On the 27th. What is the teaser for? You'll find out tomorrow. You'll find out tomorrow. It's so the first thing that I can do, because again, there are multiple things in the works. The first one is the easiest to get started with. And it's probably the least exciting, but it's something. And I think people will enjoy it. I think it's good for people who are into nerdy stuff, like, and want to be up to date on everything. So I'll be posting a video tomorrow. Videos, yeah. How'd you get into D? Sound like a winner to me. Maybe because you weren't asking celebrities. Yeah, that's true. But that was part of it. Was that like I wanted that man on the street, like you're just your average person, and them telling a cool story, because some of them were really good stories. You know, you had a variety. You had the kid talking about Stranger Things, and you had the other people talking about, oh, my dad got me into it. And you had the other person talking about they found a group online and it expanded into real life games. You had another person talking about how he grew up playing in like the 80s and he was the weird kid and he was kind of on his own and he just had the books. He didn't even know how to play, and somebody approached him, and that's how he made some of his best friends in his life, right? Good stories, you know? So what interview you just posted got shared to DSR, and a bunch of people were talking about it over there on Discord. What's DSR? That one ended up doing well, thank God, because the first interview that I did there with the head of D&D and the other one did not do well. So I'm glad that this one did. But yeah, for instance, the one I posted for the fourth one I did for how do you get into Dungeons and Dragons has been out for like 3 hours and has 156 views as a short. It is what it is. Who cares? Are we gonna wow this week? Start shake off the word. Let's go, Daniel. Heck yeah. What's up, bro, for the win? Oh, Luis, so cool. You got to meet in person. Teach me like how we go. Oh, we did. Like, there's no doubt leaving Gen Con that like Luis and I are friends. I'm not a guy who interviewed him on the internet. Like, he was saying that. Like, me and Luis are legitimately friends now. So, I mean, it was like, so when we first messaged each other on Twitter to kind of set it up, it felt super like, dude, we're already boys. And then we moved to the actual interview, and it still felt like, whoa, like, no, we're like two people having a great conversation. This is awesome. The chemistry's good. It's easy. And then it came to person, and it translated right into in person. Just immediately good conversation, easy to talk to, like all that stuff. So cannot say enough good things about Louise. Sounded funny, the audio on your WoW D&D interview had me hearing Matt Mercer times when I wasn't looking. My voice was shot, to be fair. My voice was shot. Hey, Allie, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. If you guys got one, if you got a gifted membership, make sure to say thank you to Allie. Yeah, no, my voice, I don't even think it's fully recovered yet, because every night when you're at a convention like that, especially like at, you know, you're at the start playing party, which somehow I ended up as a VIP at, all of that stuff. I mean, it's loud. Like, if any of you have been at a bar or a club that's packed, you're talking like this the whole, like, you're shouting to have a conversation with somebody 2 feet in front of you. And so that wore my voice out. Then the next day there was more stuff where you're at a, you know, a hotel lobby bar, whatever it is. And so, yeah, my voice was just like, my voice was not 100%. And then it was also using like my Rode mic, not like a legit mic like this. So it was, yeah. I definitely, when I heard my stuff back, I was like, ooh, I don't sound the same, but yeah. I can't wait for new stuff. Fingers crossed for you. Thank you. Become more. Nerd more. Glad to hear the image I had in my head of Robbie was more or less accurate. Yeah, Robbie was a super cool guy. Super chill. Very friendly, as in like he'll just pop into a group and just be like, act like one of the guys. He didn't walk up and join us and act like he was a celebrity. He acted like he was just another dude who happened to like walk up and be like, yo, can I get a cigarette? And then just chat, you know? I don't think so. See, I don't know that he's a regular smoker. Hey, Holly. Looking forward to it. Heck yeah. My friend's dad is the guy who was contracted to help create the Pearl. What Pearl? Steam knows about the blueprint framed in his house. DSR is another YouTube channel. Had an active disc community. Is constant rating for stuff on it. Oh, okay. Fix UAs and taking the community to create surveys that fit the character. I feel like DSR, because I think I accidentally got a contract that had his name on it from a company recently. Yes, DSR D&D. And I was like, you guys gave me the wrong contract. Like the contract was for me. They forgot to change the YouTube links because it was like blah 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 party B and then link to DSR. And I was like, I'm not DSR. So I don't know if he's done it yet, but we apparently have the same sponsor for a video coming up. Fun fact. That's funny, actually. Louis' interview is one of my favorites. Same, Holly. Same. Hey, Stephanie. Hello. I am also glad I had a good time. Stay from our stories. We got to run. Have fun, y'all. Until next time. Peace out, Allie. Thanks for hanging. It's amazing to hear about Louise. Absolutely, yeah. I'm to say, hey, summer's been churning. Just going to bring myself to start a new show. Missed the hang. But soon, C4 will be back. Thanks so much for algorithm. Been liking the shorts. Thank you, Vico. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Nothing respect for my Kattigan. Yeah. Manganello is how I pronounce his name, but I don't know if that's right. I think it's close. Might be Manganello. I'm not sure when it comes to it completely, but yeah. Robbie Simpson's such a cool guy. He was. I mean, everybody I met. Vico was also Vico Ortiz, who plays Kagwama in Age of Umbra, was also very nice. They were super nice. I've been around Zach before, so that wasn't like a brand new thing. I saw him at PAX Unplugged and maybe even Gen Con last year. Or maybe it was just Gen Con at PAX Unplugged. I don't know. I've seen him before. But this was the first time I walked up and was like, hey, I have an interview with you tomorrow. And then he didn't do the interview or make it to the interview. But either way, hopefully that will still happen. That's the plan, is that it will still happen. We'll just do it online. But yeah. Everybody was super nice. Christian Navarro was super nice. Neil was super nice. Yeah. Love the WoW interviews. And business partner on both played, and we're super hyped to test the modules. Heck yeah. I posted how to... Oh, did you, Jay? I must have missed it. I was probably on one of my rants. If you want to repost it, that would be dope. What do you think of the revival of Dark Sun? It looks promising. I am curious what is the same and what is different. I'm not that familiar with Dark Sun, right? I'm not. I only know that it's like a sort of survival, gritty world, like super dark. And I did an interview with McKinsey Diarmas, haven't posted it, and I don't know if I will, because like rewatching it is like the content, like there's not a lot of substance. Like it's a fine conversation, but like in terms of how I can take something from it, make it a title, and then package it correctly, I don't know, but we'll see. And in that I kind of asked, but she also didn't, she like kind of worked on some stuff, but she wasn't a huge part of it, so she only had but so much stuff to say. So yeah, I'm curious about it, and I'm sure I'm gonna get the book as long as I'm still in the D&D creator thing, so I'll get to review it. But I don't know. It might not be showing up, Jay, because you said there you go, and nothing is there. Maybe that's why I didn't see it. Let me see if it posts over here. Yeah, I'm not seeing it unless you're putting it somewhere else. Never shows ever. Heck yeah, yet it is. No, they were super cool. Thrycreen, Psionics for sure. Yeah. Decided to run a short campaign for a buddy of mine in the world of Diablo. Pretty excited. I thought the first interview I did, because I made sure to plant that question about D&D Diablo becoming a thing in the interview, because that was the whole plan, is I'll plant this and then I'll make my thumbnail and title that, and then it didn't do anything. And I'm like, do people not want that? Do not care about that? But yeah. I think it's because I posted it on Reddit too fast and it flopped. But we will see. But yeah, guys, so I can confidently say Robbie was a cool dude, Luis was a cool dude, Vico was awesome, Zach's cool. So everybody I've kind of met from that area was cool. I don't see it, Jay. It's not for whatever reason it's not popping up. I have mine set to live chat and I see it like that, but I don't know if it's just not letting you paste, like if you're copy pasting or something, but no, the last thing you said was cannibalism. And second edition Dark Sun, you started at third level, rolled 5d4 for stats. And yeah, people were asking about that. It's like, are the stats going to be the same? Is it going to be, you know, like that sort of thing? I'm not sure. Dark Sun is very much mature content. Oh, and so they have said it's going to have to be wrapped in plastic and it has a mature content warning on it. Like they're not trying to water it down in terms of like the maturity level of it. Like that is what it's going to be. So nice. Hey, Joe, want to lock a time into our schedule. So how do you feel about Tuesday at noon Eastern? That works. Let's go. How's his first M-rated product? I don't know. That's a good question. If it comes out, they'll do a crossover. Maybe. Well, David, were you here for the last stream where I talked about where I felt like he didn't like me? So I'm kind of surprised by it because like I was like, it was such a weird thing at Gen Con, but Joe who? Or wait, you said wait, what who? Joe Manganiello. By name by then? I know. I'm just gonna watch a bunch of other people pronounce it. For a book, yeah. I still have there like by the time campaign 4 comes back, I will probably have one or two more videos. Hopefully more than that, but at least that. Who doesn't like you? He might. When me and Joe met at the thing, I was kind of like, I don't know if he likes me because he had like agreed to the interview and then didn't, like started not responding, and then we met in person and it was awkward. And yeah. No, watch a bunch of him pronouncing it. Better idea, Jaded. Great. You're right. But hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it's kind of, you know, it's just like a weird thing there and everything's good now. No, that's fair, Jay. That's fair. We're back tonight. No, Worley. It does not come back until the 27th. 27th. You have this week and next week of Age of Umbra, then an off week, and then the return of Campaign 4. Shadow Priest in D&D. I love the Shadow Priest in WoW. I posted... Oh, I didn't post it yet. We do know everything in it now. Every single thing in it. So I will tell you. Manganello. Joe Manganello? That sounds right. Manganello? Joe Manganello. Joe Manganello. Let's see. Subclasses. Shadow Domain Cleric, Discipline Domain Cleric. So Shadow Priest, Disc Priest. Yep. It's in there. It is still so far away. I agree. I agree. It's tragic. Going to my first D&D game. Let's go, Miss Rachel on TikTok. Heck yeah. Is it like the first session of a game, or is it like you're joining one that's ongoing? Monganello. I'll get it, guys. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'll get it. Over to Quick to say what's up. Yo, what's up, Carnage? I met, for those of you here, I met Carnage at GenCon. He was the first person that asked me to take a picture. So basically, Carnage is the reason that I now have an ego and consider myself famous. So. And withdrawals. No, I hear you, Katie. Same, especially on the content front. Rachel on TikTok says, I'm joining a campaign that's already started, playing a level 5 monk. Let's go. Jumping right in at level 5. That's big. That's big. I hope you have an absolutely amazing time. I hope it's a great group. Is it an in-person game or an online game? Online game. And I don't know if you can see the chat on TikTok, but people are saying congrats to you for your first game. It was an honor. Yep. You created this monster. What part of D&D is he heading? He is heading the D&D Icons program as the Chief Creative Officer. So he's the one kind of over top of the other folks that are in that new program. 5 monk, good choice for new person. Fair enough. I've never played a monk. Seen any movies lately? No. I have no friends, so I mean, I've gone to movies by myself before, but it happens less often. Like I would like to have seen the Odyssey and all that, but alas, here I am. I haven't seen Spider-Man. Heard good things, but I have not seen Spider-Man. You know, the thing that still surprises me a little bit is when you talk about like a new book or a new thing coming out for D&D, the number of people who ask, is it for 2024? Is it for 5.5? I'm like, no, they're making something for 2nd edition. Yes, it's for 5.5. Thank you for tagging me for the thing with 60-second marks pronounce his name. Appreciate that. In person, thanks to everyone. Hopefully we'll help with the campaign 4 withdrawals. Yeah. Get you to get in the zone, understand some of the mechanics and abilities more, all that sort of stuff. Going back to Spider-Man again in 3D. You loved it. Kicked in-game's numbers in the teeth. Really? Spider-Man was good. Okay, got it, AK. Thank you. This movie's solo was fun. Yeah, I've done it before. Wouldn't it be wild if they did make something for 2nd edition? That would be neat. Yeah, 100%. 100% it would be neat. I even thought to ask, and I want to at some point, because I want to get more interviews with like the head of D&D. Dan AoU was actually really cool to talk to, and I legitimately think that like his heart's in the right place and he's trying to do the right thing and make people happy and all that sort of stuff. So I will say that from my meetings with the head of D&D, I legitimately feel like he's trying to do the right thing. I'd like to ask him though, like, have you guys ever thought, you have people that are like, oh, the new D&D isn't like the old D&D. Have you thought about having like almost a different version of D&D? Like, I know it's out there. That's probably the response would just be like, people can just play those other, like people can just play 2nd edition. people can just play first edition, right? Instead of making like a harder mode, like a hard mode, nightmare mode of 5e, you know. But yeah, this is my favorite back when I was a teenager. So yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Sometimes I don't know if I like actually love 3.5 as much as I think I do, or if it was just I was, you know, playing it when I was 13 to 15 or something, right? Like that's kind of one of those things where it has me wondering, like, do I really think it was like the better system, or is it just a better time in my life, right? Was it just nostalgia? So you make one ring to rule them all and use AI to convert each monster to second, third, fourth, and fifth. Good on Rage to play a monk before Travis's new monk character gets revealed. Once Civil Dungeon Crawl with friends. Yeah, I have it right there. It's behind your chat, but the red box is right there. You know, I remember distinctly my brother running it for me and going up to the hole in the wall and getting attacked by, I think, a carrion crawler. And then you finally go in, you like slide down into a room and you're like trapped in like this wooden gated thing with rust monsters, and all your gear basically gets destroyed because you're brand new and you're a child and you don't know what you're doing. So you get hit by the thing or you attack the thing and it just destroys your stuff. Yep. That was me. For live streams, but it's good to be back. Good to have you back, Baxter. Choice paralysis edition. Too many options. Yeah, if you're really trying to be like, oh, I have to pick like the right thing, yes. Otherwise, it also, a lot of choices also let you be like, I'm gonna build this crazy thing and I'm gonna build this crazy thing. Yes, best edition, my honest opinion. Totally valid, Piratey. Totally valid. Still holds up. Yep. Yep. Said a while back I was looking into an Elder Scroll Dagger Hard conversion, but it seems like I'm not the right person to do it. It's incredibly difficult to figure out how to do it. Yeah, I mean, game designers are a skill. Like, yeah. Figuring all that stuff out and trying to like do it the right way or the best way and convert this and make that, it can be tough. Yo, what's up, Batson? Welcome in, dude. Any game? I have not, Ophidian. I have not, but I've heard of it. I am doing fine, Batson. Assuming I'm the cool dude. Why is it not the world for a monk? Just because we haven't seen somebody be a monk? I think it's fine if he decides to be a monk. I don't know what he's going to be. I made a video talking about what I think he could be. I did a whole video talking about things, but I posted that video, what, a month or maybe even 5 weeks after his character died, and I still had people be like, wow, spoilers. And I'm like, how long am I supposed to just like never talk about stuff, you know? I don't know. I always wait, or I give a spoiler warning at the beginning if I'm posting it a week after, 2 weeks after, right? But like at a point, when does the responsibility not fall on me, right? How long do I have to wait before I'm no longer responsible if somebody gets spoiled? A lot of out-of-combat situations a monk would be pretty weak for. Yeah, unless you gotta like do some cool movement stuff. I just stand by the fact that I'm pretty sure he's going to end up being a marshal, and if he's not a marshal, he'll be like a quarter caster or something like that. That's where we live in. Yeah. I mean, I could have said, people are like, oh, well, the Tyler thumbnail, like, because you're like Travis's new character, it spoils, like, you don't even have to click in the video. So I understand it, but also, like, you're over a month behind. Which is fine. I get it. Life happens, but also, like, how long does the world have to, like, not publicly talk about things, you know? It's tough. Like, as a content creator, if I made that title anything else, that thumbnail anything else, it probably, like, it's not going to do as well. Right? So as a content creator, I have to balance the video could do well. It's 4 weeks after it happened. So yeah, I don't know. Again, if it was a recent, like if I was to make that video like a week after that episode aired, yeah, I'm gonna like to come up with a different title and thumbnail and whatever. But like it was a month, it was like I'm gonna do this. So I don't know. I get it. But also it's like, you know, I guess there's the somewhat selfishness of like, if I make the title something that doesn't convey I'm talking about Travis's new character, or a new character, even if it's not Travis, I just say a new character, then yeah. Bone Dragon with a $5 super chat says, posted a YouTube video of someone saving puppies and the trolls will always find a way to complain. That's right. Yeah, that's funny. Some guys were really, there's a group of like 4 or 5 people on TikTok that like call themselves the Grognards, and they hate me. Like these guys just hate me. And they're like in an echo chamber to the point where whenever they post a video, they tag the other 4 people in the caption. So then those people come and respond to their video, and then they go and make essentially the same video and tag all of them again. And it's just like the 4 or 5 people all making the same video attacking me, and like in the comments saying it like, person A is like freaking nerdcore, this, that, and the third, tags all the people. Person B then shows up in the comments and says, yeah, nerdcore sucks. And person C is like, yeah, screw that guy. And then B goes and makes a video going, nerdcore sucks. And then person A comes and goes, yeah, nerdcore. And that's it, just go. And I'm like, guys, what is wrong with you? Like, what is this obsession you guys have with me? It's so strange. It's so strange. And they're all like grown men. They're all older than I am. Some of them substantially. And I'm like, what's going on? What is going on? Every Jonathan, like every D&D game has, not every, but like the common D&D game has magic and soldiers and plate mail. Monks are still a thing. So if you just don't like monks in general, okay, whatever. But yeah, it's just part of the game. Curate other people's lives. They're concerned to go into public media platform. That's, I mean, it's fair to a point. Again, I'm going to continue. I give spoiler warnings at the starts of videos and blah blah blah, and I would never have made that video in that title a week after, 2 weeks, you know, those sorts of things. But I felt like I was at a point to do it, and I did. And you know, it wasn't like super common, but there was probably 3 or 4 people who commented and were like, hey, thanks, you just spoiled this for me with your title and thumbnail. Yeah, supposed to oh god, piracy. I saw them and didn't realize you're big enough for dedicated haters. One of them, like, this started a year ago. So here's the beginning of it. In the D&D game I play Saturday, the DM would occasionally give us like real things for puzzles. Whether you love it or hate it, like he'd be like, you come up to this door and it's like a color pattern thing, and he would basically give us like, he'd give us a link that on our phones we would do like a puzzle, like a color puzzle, like a Rubik's Cube sort of thing on our phones. I don't mind. It's a little fun thing, and if we can't get it, we can roll. Right? It's one of those things where it's like, hey, do this fun little game, and if you don't, then you can roll your intelligence and whatever. But it's something. And so at one point he gave us what are they called? Where you go a maze, right? Where you start at a point and it's a bunch of lines and you have to find your way to the other side. We ended up in a maze and he gave us sheets with a timer. And it's basically just like, you have to make it through the maze. And so we took our pencils and we went through, and I was like, I actually like that. Again, it's not for everybody. I understand. It's not the character doing it. It's the player. Fine. But I made a video saying, hey, if you want to spice things up or change things up and you're down for it, use this. Try this out. This was fun. I played in a game that did it, so I gave it to my players. They also enjoyed it. Go ahead. And this guy was like, oh, you're using, oh, this is, and just like this whole, it blew up. And got so upset. And for a year, he comments on random videos and goes, yeah, that guy was giving McDonald's puzzles to his players. And yeah, Yeah, did a whole video and still brings it up to this day and comments on other people's videos regularly enough that I started taking screenshots of all the time that he talks about me. And then he also is a part of all the mentions. And again, it's like 4 or 5 guys who just like all they do is stitch other people's videos, and they're almost always condescending or like their way's better and they're, you know, like whatever. But yeah. So he had blocked me at a point, and then he unblocked me and then blocked me. And I just last night blocked one of the other guys because I just had to move on from it. Because I tried to be reasonable when they like respond to something at first, but then I just realized that they don't actually care. They're never the people that you can explain to them factually and reasonably why what they're saying is wrong, and they'll just double down or like start attacking you. So you just have to move on, right? What's up, Bull? Fifth grade boys I teach. I know, and that's what I started to say to him too. Is like, you guys are adults, like adult. Like again, you're all 10 plus years older than I am. Yeah. It's for losers. They're out there being public person on the downside, drawing their attention. That yeah. So did the campaign 4 in one episode and then a live one shot. Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Again, I know it's not for everybody, but to attack me like I have destroyed the game of Dungeons and Dragons was just like, why are you doing this? Much. How about you? Chilling, man. Just having a little pre-show talking about a variety of topics. We talked about my Gen Con trip. We talked about Critical Role. We talked about Dungeon Masters. We talked about the people I met at Gen Con. I have some things in the works as I'm trying to expand Nerdcore, make Nerdcore more than it currently is, have more offerings, have more shows, and stuff like that. So, yeah, we've talked about a variety of topics, but definitely whenever you guys want to bring stuff up, ask questions. Like this is one of those things because, you know, normally when the actual pre-show's here, I fall behind in chat and it's tough, and you know I can't. There's only 50 people in here compared to the normal pre-shows where we were getting like 200, 150. So ask questions. Ask something about Critical Role, Campaign 4. Ask something about like this is where it's more of us just being able to chat. When's Critical Role start on Thursdays again? That will be the 27th. So this week, Age of Umbra. Next week, the finale of Age of Umbra. Then a week off, and then it returns. You're going to be covering same campaign. Wait, what do you mean same campaign? I'll still be covering Campaign 4. Yeah. Playing any video games right now? I am not currently playing anything. I have my eyes on some stuff. When the new season of WoW drops, of course, I'll be playing that. I might even hop on and level up another character just because. Fable, I want to play. There are a couple other games that like I kind of want to play, but I'm just in this zone of like trying to make this content creation thing work, and so sometimes I'm like worn out because I spend so much time thinking about it and or stressing about it that I used to play games all the time. Like when I say all the time, I mean like I worked remotely. Your boy was playing games 8 to 12 hours a day. And I barely play video games over the last several months. Like it's actually kind of nuts how much I used to play compared to like now I have rarely played. I still plan to, I still want to. It's just not the priority it once was. Which is weird to say that it was like once a priority, but Nerdcore Crypto, no. Is Robbie as cool in person as he seems? Yes, we talked about that actually. Robbie was super cool. Super cool guy. I got the video with him. I got some pictures with him. And also just, you know, was in a group talking with him for, 15 minutes or so. Jaded says, in my game, I have a player that's an artist IRL, and they met someone that had a map that didn't want to part with. So IRL, I gave the player 60-second challenge to copy the map so accurately. Oh, that's cool. They got to use they would have hated that. Oh yeah, they would have hated that, absolutely. And I get it. Some other people have said, like, if you put a puzzle in front of me as a player, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not in the game. My character is. I get that. It's fine. I don't think people should throw a fit over it, but I can understand the logic behind it. Again, different tables, different folks. It's the people who feel like everybody has to do things the way they want to that ruin things for everybody else. Double says Deborah Ann Wall. I also would love to interview her. Made a whole YouTube video about puzzle props for your players. Now I want to see if there's any haters in her comments. Probably. What level do you think they will get to? Because season 1 ended at level 2 and they already level... What? Season 1 ended at level 2 and they are already level 3. Of what? Who ended at 2 and 3? Oh, Age of Umbra, Xander? Age of Umbra? I was so confused for a second. I was like, Critical Role, Dungeon Masters. I was like, none of that is accurate. Gonna cover Warlock. I don't know how much there's going to be to cover Warlock. We still know so little about it, but your boy may or may not be playing it early, or I don't know if I'm playing it. Something. It's coming up. I have an opportunity to do more with it. I don't know what all it will be. I was kind of positive. Really? So no, I did not. Let me go see that. He still owes me one. All right. He doesn't have things. Do you know how far into it is? It's 57 minutes long. But it's 57 minutes long. I'll play it once we get to that part, but his character you're consistently withdrawn to across campaigns. It's Taliesin for me. Taliesin's always had cool characters, yeah. Oh, well, he's going by day. He just said day 0 from what I'm listening, so maybe I can skip. Because it would have been, we were scheduled for Friday, I think. Yeah, I don't know yet. It is. I'd have to think about that. Go back and watch last 4 campaign to remember what's going on. C4, yeah. How was James Wyatt off camera? I didn't talk to him that much off camera, like a little bit before the interview while I was setting up and blah, blah, blah. He's cool. He seems cool. He seems passionate, seems knowledgeable, lives an interesting life. He's like a, ooh, what's the right word? I can't remember. I wanted to say pastor or reverend, but he's a priest. He's a priest as well, which is kind of interesting. I think it was priest. Yeah, can't remember. But at the end of C4, level 20, 14. I would be shocked if they got all the way to 20. But his adventure pass better than ran the fabled Curse of Strahd and was majorly disappointed when comparing to Pathfinder. Hold on, I'm watching. I'm trying to find the spot. Minister, that might be it. He's something like that. Just to play another barbarian from Timber or something. It'd be cool if he played another barbarian, but it's just a matter of will he do that after having had grog, you know? Pirates, not even close. That's funny. Do you think PCs should die? So to hold on. Okay, I just saw it. He just goes, he was talking about how hungover he was, and he goes, I even had to cancel an interview. Sorry. And then he just continues on. So I'm guessing that's what we were talking about. Which was funny because he was at the start playing party and he was getting a drink. And that's when I was like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, yo. And I was like, I'm interviewing you tomorrow. And he was like, I'm not going to be hungover. Don't worry. And then I get a text in the morning from the PR person who's like, hey, he has a debilitating headache. He's not going to be able to make it. Debilitating headache? I saw him. So there we go. Now we know. It's at, in his latest thing, it's at like the 20-minute, 30-second mark for anybody interested. Jay, on the WizKids and Critical Role thing, I don't know if they have actually parted ways. I think it's quite possible. I don't think anything's been confirmed, so I don't like to state things as confirmation. I think it's quite possible that they have parted ways, and yes, the Critical Role stuff is currently 80% off, and I bought quite a few things. I bought monsters. I didn't buy like characters and stuff. I bought monsters that I can use for things. But yeah, it was funny that night before I was at the start playing party with him, and he was like, "Don't worry, I'm not gonna be hungover for our interview," and then could not do the interview because of that. More fun when they play something new to them. Yeah, I mean, it's up to him. I'm gonna be happy either way. He's gonna. The fear is of living up to Grog. Even if he tried to play a barbarian, that was just a totally different vibe. People would be like, "Well, Grog was the better barbarian," you know, whatever. So I don't know if he will, but it wouldn't bother me if he was another barbarian. Personally, he's played. It's not like if he did a barbarian every single campaign. He's played multiple other characters at this point, so. Kind of doing heavy lift. Sorry. No. You're fine. You're fine. Sorry. That wasn't me saying it. I was just like, it's kind of like I got there and realized what he did. It was like, oh, okay. I mean, he did. It was, sorry, you know, so there's that. And he apologized in person, to be fair. I saw him that night. Like I saw him Thursday night, bailed on the interview that morning. I was then at the D&D mixer party, Friday night. Ran into him there. He apologized. Then I was hanging out with Louise and Zach came up and they were talking, yeah, we were all there. They were in a conversation. I did whatever. And he was talking about it. And he was still like, we're going to do your interview. And then he was like, we could even do it tomorrow. Tomorrow at this point being Sunday. And Louise was like, no. You guys need to sit down and talk like we did. Don't force it. Wait till you get home. And so hopefully that will happen. I actually messaged him today. But he hasn't opened it yet. But I will find a way to contact him if I don't get responses. To be like, hey, we're supposed to do this interview. Which may be a part of an upcoming thing that I'm doing. Wink, wink, hint, hint. Yo, what's up, J-Rock? Snatavac said, oh yeah, you said that that they were back in stock. Nice. You're going to have so many cool dice sets, Daniel. I'm jealous. I bought $700 worth of miniatures for just over 100 today. That's insane. Oh, I got 4 boxes of minis from the for free at the convention as well. You can't see them. They're all behind the chat. It's all the Beyond the Witchlight set. So it's like weird stuff, but I like the frog. I got 2 of the frog. It's the frog with the boots sticking out of the mouth. I need to clip my nails. So I got 2 of these guys. I got this cool thing here. Also, isn't this nice because I put freaking autofocus on so I can actually do this and you guys can see what I'm holding up? This creepy little guy. Got that. This one might be too small to zoom in on. There we go. Got a cool little mushroom guy. Got 2 of these. Decorated says, yes, they are. Is it IB King or LB King over on TikTok? Yes. Age of Umbra's finale is next week. So they have an episode tonight. Finale's next week. And then they'll take a week off, and then they'll come back with campaign 4. I got 2 of these guys as well, red caps. And then there's other stuff. I don't know. This one, hold on. These guys are a little strange. Let me make sure I had their name right. Yeah. I got 2 of these, and I want you guys to, if you know the name, don't type it in the chat. But if you don't know, what do you think these are called? Don't even want to guess. Travis Arcane Archer might be cool. Yeah, that could be cool. I got this guy. He's kind of neat. Like, this is a cool looking mini. Like, if you're playing like a drow or something like that and you want to be all mysterious and cool, that's a good mini for being mysterious and cool. Squash Baubles. I actually love that. I actually love that. I don't even know what this is. This is called a quickling. Floating plungers. So I won't answer. Do you know the answer, Stephanie? Something sexual, or just have a bad brain? No, that is accurate. Just joining. Can you talk about meeting the CR cast, Luis and Robbie? I will, absolutely. Those. Oh, and this one is a Harington brigand. I like this guy, little rabbit guy. Right here. So going back to this pleasant mini. This is called a squirt. This is called a squirt. Fun fact. Fun fact. And there's a couple other minis back there. So you know what? Why the heck? I keep saying I'm not going to show you guys the rest, and now we're down to 3. So, this is a Feywild Goblin. So yeah, all these were free, so that was cool. This is a Amador. This guy's kind of cool. Wait. Did they give this guy a ding-a-ling? Pretty sure this guy's kind of... All right, moving on. We got a Glister. This is the last one. There you go, Glister. Oh, there was one more thing, but I left it out there. It's a thorn. Yeah, it's all good. Feywild Goblin looked like a little fireman. He did. He had his little hat on, his thing. It was cool. What did I miss? When the character died, Julien and Thimble are some of the biggest risk takers, so they'll put themselves in situations. Valid. Bought box sets, large and huge monsters, 24 items. Nice. Yeah, larges and huges can be quite expensive. Then we'll get to Winclair, who asked about meeting the people. What was this collection called again? This is the Wild Beyond Witchlight collection, I think. No, Witchlight is like the Witchlight Carnival and all that stuff. Yeah. Well, so I can't see very well. Oh, valid. I'm not pleased by Monk, but I think Travis would do a good job. I just get the feeling Travis is playing one of the shorter races like Dwarf, Halfling, or Gnome. I don't know why. I'm down for that. We need more dwarves. Winclair, you had asked, can we talk about meeting the CR cast like Louise and Robbie? Yes, Louise is incredible. Super genuine and kind guy. The chemistry we had before the interview, during the interview, translated right into in person. It was like we were friends. I left that convention. I think we both left that convention considering the other like a legitimate friend. We hung out like 4 or 5 times at the convention. We got together and spent time together. Super cool guy, super great. Robbie was also super cool. Very different circumstances of meeting and then spending some time with Robbie, but he took a picture with me, took a video with me. We also just sat there and talked as a group, like not like one-on-one, but like there was a small group, like 4 or 5 of us. And he was super cool. I described it earlier as like him coming up and talking to us was no different because he like went and like bummed a cigarette. And it was like no different than any random like he didn't approach like he was important or a celebrity or whatever. He walked up and just like engaged in normal, like as if he walked into a bar that nobody knew who he was and he just started talking to people. That's exactly how he came up and hung out with us. So both of them were super cool. Vico Ortiz from Age of Umbra also met them and they were super cool. So hopefully that covers it, answers that for you, Winclair. Yeah, I have the Crooked Moon box as well. I didn't get the minis with it, but I do have the Crooked Moon box back there. I think it's on the top right there. Yeah, it's right next to my World of Warcraft box. Up. Oh, it's off camera, I think. Yeah, it's above this shelf. Can we get a philosophical question in? You can certainly ask one. Travis should play a Dwarven Paladin. Just be another Paladin. The Feywild Goblin Mini is so cute. That one is cool. At some point, one might question oneself if the Dakotas know Taylor died. Might they have a way to know and then exploit this? Maybe. Could get Taylor the Scar. Well, they can't now. His body got removed, right? Since Thimble got to go down there and get the bracers and go big, pick them up, get them to the river, all that sort of jazz. So the bodies are not there to be taken. Yeah, Neon Odyssey did crazy good numbers. Crazy good numbers. Tiny. No, Vico's not super short. I mean, they're small in frame and stature, but in terms of like height, it's not a like I don't remember exactly, but I feel like they were probably somewhere between like 5'3" and 5'6", something like that. I'm sure. Maybe if I type, see if it'll pop up. It says 5'6". Yeah. On like if you Google it, it says 5'6". Oh, we're the same age. Well, they haven't turned 35 yet, but they were born in 91. Yeah, their IMDb says that. Hey, Jay, thanks for the $10 super chat. What are your thoughts about AI? Half of content creators seem to hate it, and the other half are saying we're dumb if we aren't using any tool to make the immediate game more fun. I use it as a DM. So I'm not a diehard anti-AI person. I'm also not somebody who's like, you need to use AI for everything. So I'm the person who falls in some sort of middle ground where I say, so for instance, in my Saturday game, the last game that was run and the current game are leaning heavily on AI. And the last one had a lot of problems because of that. So I don't love, because they weren't just using it as a tool to help them create, they were running an AI game, right? To where like they're trying to find the stuff and they're like scrolling through and they're like, and it's that's not ideal. So I don't love that. I don't think it's good. right? I think it leads to a worse product because you're not prepared enough and you're having to like read through and you're having to become familiar and the AI messes up, the AI forgets. So I don't support it as like an altogether tool like that for running a game, since you said use it DM. Am I anti using it in the sense of you already have an idea for something and you know the point A and the point B and you have an idea for what happens in the middle, but you're like, hey, help me create this thing, or here's my idea for this, help me flesh this out. Like, I don't think those are major issues, right? Like saying, hey, here's all of the stuff that I have planned, help me format this for my notes. Okay, right? Yeah, so I think as a tool for DMs, I think there's a perfectly fine spot. I don't think people should be running like pretending to run a game while just typing things into AI, it's spitting it out, and then them trying to do it, because it's not, that's not it. Yeah. Anyone else going to see the new MST3K episode in theater next month? What is that? Didn't someone say they need to put the scar on Terry before he died? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, names for stuff, is another thing. Like, you can either go to a generated list online or type that in there, right? Like, those are sorts of things. But yeah, I understand plenty of the AI stuff. Like, I get it. I also think that some people swing too hard in the other direction with their hate. You don't have to use it, but some of the hate is where I'm like, what? Like, I don't know. I just feel like it becomes too much for certain aspects. Have any of you run a rotating DM West Marches? I'm trying to not become permanent demon and also engage all the players as DM. Some recommendation. I've never done it myself, but it could be interesting. If all people are like comfortable with that, right? My brother-in-law uses AI for names. Thinking 5K names in a campaign is hard. I personally would never play in a game where the DM is using AI and I don't use it to DM. Like, at all. Like, no matter what they were doing, you're just like, no, if they type something into ChatGPT, you're like, I don't want to be in your game. I raked over the coals of the Daggerheart Reddit for looking for feedback on some AI DM screens generations because I wasn't paying an artist to do it for me, or seeking out a way to use human made. Yeah, it gets more iffy when you're doing it for things like art, right? Because the models are like based on other people's work. Now, again, the counter arguments, which I'm not trying to have a whole debate about AI here right now. The counter arguments would be like, well, almost everybody bases their art off of somebody else's art. And so this is creating something based on whatever, but people are like, no, it's actually using their art and blah, blah, blah. They didn't give permission for that. And it's a whole thing. If it was super easy to answer, we'd have answered it. But there is like a lot of nuance to that. So I get it. For instance, I also currently have somebody working on some art stuff for me that I will pay. Can I pay them an insane amount? Absolutely not. I don't make that kind of money. But I was like, I will pay you some. But I am using some AI to mock up my ideas because I'm not creative, right? So like, I'm still putting money into an artist to create something. But when I'm trying to explain what I want, I'm going, okay, and I like have it create some sort of thing, and then I give it to them, and then they can use their human nature to create the things that I want. Like, you know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm terrible for doing that, but I'm still going to pay an artist to make the final thing, right? Yeah. Let's see. Let's leave a like, everyone. It's free. True. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I like using AI for some NPCs that I always want to fully flesh out myself. I give it ideas and usually an outcome I'm happy with tweaks as needed. Resource. I work 70 hours a week and just want to save some time to play with wife and I. Yeah. If you ever want to read a bit more on like technology and AI in general, the book Against the Machine by Paul Kingsnorth is a fun read. Okay. Seeds of fans critique Brennan's interpretation of Senator Houses as Nepo baby sorcerers and as villains of the story. Do you have thoughts on these critiques? Agree, disagree? I think 100% Brennan kind of did that. Yeah. It's very political, and he's a very, very outspoken left-leaning person. So yeah, yeah. I mean, there's no doubt when you're looking at this campaign and like the way everything's played out that it's like, oh, the people in power abusing the people underneath, and they're trying to keep them down from becoming able to achieve the same thing. It's kind of like the, hey, if there is equal, if those people out there are equals, then like we, you know, like there's been outright speeches that basically confirm that sort of thing. They get it on them. That's a good question. Mystery Science Theater. Oh, Mystery Science Theater. God, I haven't heard that in so long. People make it out to be fair, Arctic. It's Swiss March is a TV show. Seem to constantly reference. No, it's a type of game where you are running multiple tables in a single D&D game and world, where people can kind of come and go throughout. Pay artists with all that fat Hasbro shield money. Yeah, old Tony, tell me about it. You know what kills me is the guy on that video was like, do you ever critique, or he was like, when was the last time you critiqued Wizards of the Coast? And I said, I think the Ravenloft book is way too much regurgitated content and not enough new content. And then I explained reasonably, blah, 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 and then he just doesn't respond. And I'm like, you just like, was it a gotcha? You wanted to get me and you didn't get me. So now you're just like, it's just like, come on, dude. I don't get it. Persevere against the environmental impacts of AI and live in the county in the country with the most data centers in the country. Oh yeah, because you're in VA with me. Yeah. So the thing with that, because I'm not an expert, right? But I feel like there's so much conflicting stuff about whether or not it is actually doing the stuff to the water. It's not doing the stuff to the water. These other things that we do use way more water than this. And so I'm not as informed as maybe I should be when it comes to some of the environmental stuff. And I can admit that. It depends if you're charging how much. Like if you can afford a thing, I just pay for it. If you are running a free game, man, you're already doing a lot. Yeah, and that's the other thing is like, you know, like for instance, if somebody goes on start playing and it's like running a straight AI game, I think that's kind of sketchy. Now you can, of course, again, there's I'm a person who will always be like, what could the counter thing? And my first thought is like, if everybody there is having fun, they're paying for a service that they're getting, right? So I don't know. There's just so many weird things when it comes to all this. Gotta go keep it the good work. Thanks, old Tony. Appreciate it, dude. I do an air projector on the mat. I run off hybrid monsters. I uploaded my made miniatures from HereForge and AI and have it show the PCs and the big battle maps. Okay. Showing the images to your players and stuff like that. Yeah, we artists know we are a luxury good. When you got to pinch pennies, it is what it is. Again, and that's where I'm like, I was still like, hey, I can give you money for this because I don't even know that they were expecting any. But I was like, but I don't expect it to be a ton. And at any point, it's like, if you're just like, hey, this is going beyond what I'm doing, we'll stop, right? Like if you're just like, hey, this isn't going to be enough, or this is taking too much time or too much energy, fine, right? Good. I understand that. But I also, you know, I can't go get a freaking whole marketing company to create and do stuff for me. I just don't. Some fans aren't liking Brennan's interpretation of sorcerers as the villain, since I guess it hits the nail too hard on the head, so to speak, inherited magic, wealth, and power. I don't know. So you're asking what I think about it? I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think we've already seen that not necessarily all sorcerers are as evil as others, right? There's a scale to it. Like the Einfazens don't seem to be quite as bad as the Draconis or the Halavars. We haven't seen outright like this is evil from the Cormorants and stuff like that, but yeah. Felicia today did a Kickstarter for a new guild reboot. Grand Professor DM did awesome on Deathbringer. Live gameplay of Warlock breaks August 25th. You're a lot of stuff. I thought I was going to interview Felicia Day at GenCon, and that also didn't happen. This proves obviously an allegory. I personally like the message Brennan is trying to send, but I think minority fans don't feel the same. Yeah, that's the world, right? BW says D&D and AI is AI weird. I say if someone uses it to create a character, it's fine. Jay says Brennan's BBG is typically capitalism, so definitely not surprising. Yeah, I don't think any of it's super surprising. Wick and Octus, okay too. Well, yeah, and Wick is actually a sorcerer. Octus isn't, right? So like that was kind of the whole thing, is he didn't get that part of the family. I don't think sorcerers are the villains because they're magic nepo babies, and like not all sorcerers are bad. Feels like critique is something that hasn't been said. Yeah, I was more so saying like the Sundered Houses are like the wealthy nepo, like that, not necessarily the sorcerer part to me. But it gives another, so rather than just be like we're wealthy and we have power, it gives another angle of we also have an inherent magical ability that we don't want others to have, which is why we didn't want the Pentavral for wizards to come out, right? Like it gives another angle that fits the magical world and isn't just a straight up this is the real world, like we have money and you don't, right? So I think it adds a level to that that's interesting. Yeah, Azune is. Yeah, he's got actual sorcerer in him. Sources versus Wizards from Party Steve. I'm old school, so I think C4 is the first campaign I've seen where Wizards aren't more common than Sorcerers. I forget that 3 is over 25 years old now, which is kind of crazy. Warhammer's getting its own cartoon from Secret Level Makers. Yeah, it's getting an animated series, which is dope. And that I covered that on as a short, which again probably did nothing. YouTube shorts don't exist for me, but it did very well on TikTok. It did very well for me on TikTok. Affinity for magic. That's why I assume his father hates him. Also begs the question about his mother, who we knew nothing about. Essentially valid. All right, I need everybody here to promise that when I post this video tomorrow, which is kind of like the start of a new thing that I am doing as Nerdcore, I need you all to watch it. Okay? Deal? Do we have a deal, chat? Because I have some other stuff that I'm also working on. But this is like, there are multiple things in the pipeline for what how I want to grow Nerdcore and expand into more things and try to do more content consistently and have more things that people can come to me for. This is just the first of several, and it's tomorrow. So watch them all anyhow, easy peasy. Promise if you leak what it is. I'm not trying to build up crazy hype for this. There's some other stuff that could be more exciting. I think this could be good for me in the channel and is good for folks. But I don't want this to seem like this is going to be earth shattering something tomorrow. Something else I think is going to be really cool that is happening, but not this one. What time? Unfortunately, I don't have a set time. It won't happen super early, I'll tell you that. It'll definitely be like an afternoon sort of thing. Yo, what's up, Purple Tiger? As long as it is not a 24-hour documentary, you have my support. It is not a 24-hour documentary. She's a true nerd. Oh yeah, Felicia Day definitely seems really cool. Never mind, looked it up, and I wasn't even born when sorcerers came into D&D. Yeah, it came up. It's funny how some people who have played D&D and like are creators in the space and all that, and then I find out that they didn't even know that like elves and dwarves weren't like, they were classes in early D&D, right? Like you would be like, I'm gonna be a fighter or an elf or a dwarf. It wasn't like you were a dwarf fighter or an elf fighter. You were like, I'm gonna be a this or a mage, or right, like those sorts of things, or an elf or a dwarf. And the fact that like some people don't know that's kind of crazy. Jay, I don't know if you like that guy or not, but if it's who I'm thinking of, I think that guy sucks. just, I'm just gonna put it out there. Like, that is the rage baiter of all. Yeah, that's the guy. That guy is he literally is making a career off of rage baiting and attacking people, and I hate it. I hate it. Which I don't want to get into. I just want to share that I think that guy sucks as a human being. just put that out there. If everybody commenting can leave a like, we can start by that. Yeah, leave a like, guys. Leave a like. And definitely do it on the video. The other things that help, guys, engaging with the content with like positive things when you see videos and you see things. Watch time is important. Clicking into the video, watching the video all the way through is super important. Yeah. That's me. I've only played 5 and 5.5. No idea what a THAC0 is. What a THAC0 is. Oh, man. So THAC0 stands for to hit armor class 0. So it's like a backwards way of doing armor class. So right now what you do, right, is when, again, I have no idea how they came to THAC0 before the way they do it now. Like the way they do it now, so simple, it's straightforward, it makes sense when you think about it. THAC0 is like the opposite. So right now you roll a d20, you have an attack bonus, you add the attack bonus to the thing. And THAC0, it's like you're rolling, but it's like a subtraction instead, and you're trying to go, it's like, oh, you need like a 2, or you need like, it's just, yeah, it's just a backwards way that I don't understand why. Again, somebody pointed out, we had this conversation, and somebody said it was because back in the day, so many things were table-based. It was a lot of table-based stuff. And that's why, was it you, Big Dog, who explained that? And so it kind of fit with how they did things. Lots of that. But it's still hard for me to compute that like they had this way that was like just a straightforward like addition, and they still went like with this backwards way. But yeah, THAC0 stands for to hit AC 0. THAC0 was a solution to having to hit tables. Yes, that's what it was. Yep. I try to come on every short that I scroll across, and I appreciate that. Thank you. As long as you let it play and comment. But you guys have to remember that in these old editions too, you know how we're talking about, literally like races or species, whatever you call them, were basically like your character. That you weren't like a mage elf or a fighter. It was like you were a thief. There wasn't a rogue. It was a thief. And then at a point there was an acrobat. There's a cavalier, and then an elf and a dwarf. Right? Like those were like their own thing. Old D&D was also crazy because a lot of things were just like save or die. Like a spider would, like, you get attacked by like a giant spider or a spider, and you would have a con save, and it was just like save or die. You didn't get attached to characters that much back then. Like if your character could survive to like level 3 or plus, like maybe you could actually make it somewhere, but like very different game. Yeah, different saving throws. Yeah, you had like versus wands, you had versus poison. So when I said con save, it's like that's not, but it's the easy way to understand because saves were different. You had different saves. Was debating my existence in the what's up, Dr. Calvin? I was there 1,000 years ago when THAC0 was forged in the fires of Mount Doom. Felicia Day Gaming interview, nice. Oh, what do you say regarding Age of Umbra? I did not see the whole chapter. Fall in between. Can you recap? I can't because I was gone. I was at GenCon. I have not seen the last episode. Somebody said basically somebody traded on them. All of them got captured except for Dilly, so the party is split, I believe is the general, like a very simple recap. But yeah, I was at GenCon. I was at the start playing party at GenCon while the episode was airing, so I did not see it. Big Dog Loki announcing Elven Heritage, yeah. Oh yeah, there was also like leveling worked completely different. And there was also for a time, like leveling wasn't XP from like killing monsters, it was getting gold, right? Like there's just so much, things were just so different. Yeah, well, Wizards only got a D4 all the way up until 5th edition. Like they were way more of glass cannons. Like Wizards were way more glass cannons. They're like now a D6, but like it was D4s. The Charity C4 info. No, we have no new information about C4. Okay, and I don't know if anybody else was disappointed. I can understand them doing it, but when we got the monthly Lore Keeper's Ledger and it was all about Age of Umbra, I was like, I was hoping to like that was going to be my fix, right? That was going to be the little bit of campaign 4 that I got during the 8-week break. Was like, oh, new information, more lore about campaign 4, and then they just gave us Age of Umbra lore, which not even a lot of lore, just like some information about those things, and I was like, oh, so that was a little heartbreaking. Maximum points at first level. You roll a 1, you got 1 HP plus. And yeah, back in the day it was also, now we'll call it the Iron Man style of like rolling stats in D&D, but back in the day it was just kind of a part that you rolled straight down for most people, I think. And it was just more widely accepted that you had bad stats, and classes were harder to get into. Like to be certain classes, you had to have like that requirement, and some of those requirements were just harder. If you rolled really well, you'd like be able to play multiple things, but if you did, you're like, I can only play this one thing. Original D&D was more human-centric. Human versatility was represented by different human classes, while demi-humans, elf, dwarf, etc. were there. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, super hard to be a paladin. New country soon for studies. I want to meet people to play D&D with over there. Nice. Where are you moving from, Winclair? And where to? If you don't mind me asking. You certainly don't have to answer. Before 3rd edition, if a spellcaster took any damage during a combat round that ruined their concentration, they couldn't cast. Play the wizard for 1 HP, no spells that round. Yeah, D&D was hard, guys. Dragon Horde logic with that gold, yeah. Didn't care for the GenCon announcements. Whose? Are you talking like Daggerheart? Are you talking D&D? Whose stuff didn't you like? It took forever to become a bard. Bad stats can really change a character. Always roll. Yeah, I mean it basically decided what you were. In old D&D, where the villains all just dragons messed up in different trench coats. No. Class restrictions were brutal too. You had to roll high on 4 stats to be a ranger. Rangers weren't allowed to keep more gold than they actually needed to survive. Paladins were stupidly restrictive. Yeah. There's also crazy stuff like that with like you couldn't have more gold than they actually needed to survive. Like just random things that were in that game. That like some of them are kind of cool and they help, and then other ones you're just like, what? Like, why is that a thing? Yeah. D&D is still hard, just as D. It's not as hard as that was. How many things in D&D now were like save or die? Right? How many things, you know what I'm saying? Like the mechanics of the game were just harder back then. Which is why you rarely, like, people didn't get as attached to their characters, because it was less about that. It was more of like, yes, it was a tabletop role-playing game, but it wasn't played as much for the role-play aspect as it is today. It certainly still was, but I don't think it's played nearly as much then as it was, or as it is now. Everyone in the chat is like, back in my day, do you all prefer that or miss it sometimes? Do you prefer it now? Again, I have nostalgia for like 3.5, and I think that there can be fun had in old editions. I think you have to approach it differently, but I still think you can enjoy every edition. You can 100%. I don't know that I miss, but I could sit down at a table of people who enjoy 2nd edition and play a game of 2nd edition. I could also enjoy it. Doing Convergence Trivia Night for a pre-show before C4 returns, but that's still a lot of words. How good are your notes? Convergence Trivia Night. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how that would work, to be honest. The Sierra Daggerheart. Yeah, I've heard people kind of mixed on the Daggerheart announce. Critical Role didn't announce anything, right? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess they're Daggerheart, and they announced that there's going to be another live show, but that was more of a Daggerheart, or not live show, but live stream. But that was more of a Daggerheart announcement. Yeah, we talked about this before in my post GenCon thing, and it was people basically being like, their announcements were, we're going to announce stuff. Like, stuff is coming, stay tuned, was like their announcements for it. So I can understand that people are a little like, eh. I hope folks recollect what happened before the 2-month break. Valid. I like both options, honestly. Most people newer systems better for all. They're definitely easier to get into. 100% easier to get into. 5e, 5.5. Moving from Ireland to Austria. I've only played once here. You really need to know people, but hopefully I'll have more luck in Austria. Okay. Interesting you couldn't get folks in Ireland. I thought I had more than one Ireland person in here at a point. When you have a group of old hardcore nerds, it can be fun to play real challenging. Exactly. Like, if you want something that's more challenging and kind of like, holy crap, when you see that thing, like, you really have to think. Like, going into fights, you can die. Beautiful. That's the beautiful part of low-level D&D and 5e. Because the higher level you get, like, it becomes less likely and all that sort of stuff. One of my players, we've played 4 sessions? Or 5? I think 4. One of the players in this campaign that just started, we're 4 sessions into my new campaign. He's gone down 4 times in 4 sessions. Across the other group, there's probably like 4 other times people have gone down amongst the other like 4 players or 3 players. They're walking up and it's like, you know, it's 4 at this, because last night, one of the guys is on deployment. So we had only 4 and they fought a zombie bear at level 2, 4 level 2s. And yeah, dude walks up and just mauls somebody down. And then turns into whatever. And you're having to think, right? You're having to be like, oh, I need to maintain distance. We need to do this. We need like, because like this is like when you're level 1, 2, 3-ish, stuff is hard. And it's like, it gives you that fear of like, oh, this is actually tough. Like and I love it. I love it. I love that excitement. And so my role at my table for this campaign is when the person's rolling their death saves, nobody knows. I don't even know. Because then I can't, because I'm definitely the type that like, I don't hate feeling like I'm doing something to my players or like, you know, messing my players' fun up or whatever. So I may try to save them, right? I may try to do something, whatever. The other players don't know. And last night we were playing and he had 2 failed death saves and we didn't know. And then, so he was basically like, when it got to his turn, it was like, all right, well, this is it. And so now we knew, and I said, roll in front of everybody. We're going to make a scene out of it. I can't impact it anymore. Nobody else can impact it anymore. It's down to the dice. And he rolled like a 17. He was able to be fine. And then blah, blah, blah. But it's one of those things that, I don't know, there's just a different feel to like real danger. And that's some of the fun of low level 5E and 5.5 is that like you walk up and the zombie bear is hard. They fought a banshee. The whale goes off. 2 people drop. This fight just turned into TPK potential. Then the barbarian rolls a nat 20 on their death save, pops back up, right? Like it just leads to these moments that are so cool. Yeah, I don't know. It just, and being loose about it, where like I approach this game like, guys, you know, especially at lower levels, death can happen, right? I'm not gonna just not put something that I think you guys can beat just because like there's a chance you don't beat it. That's just, the cookie's going to crumble the way the cookie crumbles. I'm not going to like screw you guys, but it's also like, yeah, you guys roll really poorly, zombie bear's going to kill you. Yeah, you guys roll really poorly, banshee's going to kill you. Right? Like, that's just the way it is. Whereas it was a whole hallucination for me. Feels like hazy. No, I feel that. The episodes were super long for the convergence. I usually go playing a board game with one a hardcore difficult game. Fair. Anybody got Mighty 9 Season 2 date? I don't think they've announced that. Sean West says, I was a 2nd edition kid, but I think I prefer 5e over THAC0. Yeah, I mean, I didn't love THAC0. Old school D&D is more of a dungeon horror survival game, or modern is more heroic. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Modern D&D, when people talk about stuff like, oh, it's hard to die or it's hard whatever, it's a heroic D&D, it's a heroic TTRPG. You're meant to be heroes, so it's not supposed to be easy for you to die, right? Which is why in the early levels, I explain to my players, I'm like, yeah, this stuff is hard and you can die because you're level 2. You're not a hero yet. You're an adventurer that's just getting started. Death is more possible. You're not, you know, you're gaining experience or whatever. They hit level 3 after the bear, or after the banshee. So they fought the banshee and the bear with No long rest between. They did short rest at level 2. And I didn't pull punches, you know. I could have attacked the guy who had Bless up to try to like make it harder for them to fail their things, but oh, I also loved the skill points summer and third edition of like having to decide. There was just more stuff you had to do then. Way more options, way more stuff to do in terms of building out your character. I enjoyed that. Where you preach, try to kill your players every session. Narratively delightful. Then you implement scars and get this one-eyed, legged, half-a-jaw paladin who can't even lift a shield. Lower levels of D&D, you're really squishing. Chances are likely you'll go down. Yeah, he's gone down 4 times in 4 sessions. He's also been crit, unluckily, like multiple times. Now in 5th edition, I keep expecting the DM to ask me for spot and listen checks. I also kind of miss that things were separate. I kind of miss that. Hesitant to pick a rose from a 30 bush at level 2. God forbid, fight a zombie bear. Low level and challenging gameplay make the world feel big and dangerous. Lose that, but gain being heroes and forces of nature. Exactly. As soon as I read the title of the stream, you're so lucky. It was a good time, Gabby. Yeah, Gen Con allowed me to meet some cool folks. Your only truly went down once. The DM said, I guess for my second attack, they'll hit you again for 2 death saves. Yeah, that's another thing that's like hard to decide whether to do it or not. You know, that's one of the things that I struggle with is like when somebody goes down, whether or not, you know, you hit them again. Maybe he's too hardcore, but I plan 2nd and 3rd phases for bosses, so I get the chance to really challenge the players. Yeah, I've done that. Definitely depends on the fight and the boss and all that sort of stuff, but definitely different phases. Yeah, M9 season hasn't, the new one hasn't been announced yet for a release date. The next season of Mighty 9 will probably come out in the fall, but we don't know that. We need Mighty 9 season 2 to recover from Legends of Vox Machina season 4 finale. Oh, that finale was so good. That was such a good finale. Slide a note to a random player, right? Raise your eyebrows and say nothing to the others, and I'll give you a potion. The rest of the table will be like, what is it? Oh, that's the other thing. So in the last game, my last campaign, I gave out good magic items too early, which just resulted in the scaling becoming really bad. Because if I wanted to give for instance, my brother got a really good greatsword, a greatsword that was like 2d6, which is a greatsword that did an extra d4 radiant or a d6, but also cast shield twice per day. He's a fighter in plate mail. So it was like maybe a cloak percent, I don't know. So like being able to cast shield as a fighter and whatever, and yeah, it's very good. And so we held on to it forever. Like it's so hard to like get somebody to give that up. So the only way to give it up is to end up finding even better magic items. And so in this campaign, because of the way the world's set up and the fact that like the gods have returned and so the churches have risen in power, the churches have managed to collect much of the magic items out there as people have shown their devotion by giving them magic. They've gone on sort of these missions and collected magic items and all that. So they own a lot of the magic items to help lower the magic level of the world. But then they hit level 3, they get some loot, and I got to introduce stuff like it's just a freaking moon-touched sword. And I'm trying to explain to them that like this is a big deal because like it's hard to come by magic and all that, but it also lets them get a magic weapon without it being like, oh, here's a +1 that does a d6 extra fire damage, whatever. It's like, no, it just goes through resistance. And it glows, right? And here's 2 health potions, and here's like a scroll of lesser restoration and a scroll of Misty Step. You know, and it's like, cool. That's solid loot for a low level, you know? Sorry, I went on a tangent. That's part of the reason why I like how in C4 there's no Revivify. Keeps the stakes high. The players need to remain smart. We've seen what happens. I really like the complete handbooks. Yeah, I mentioned to the people in an interview when I interviewed Wes and Mackenzie a while back that I think I pulled out one of my 3.0 books. That was like, you know, the guide to rogues and bards or the guy, you know, that sort of thing. Because I'm like, why do we not get more of these? Right? Like Song and Silence, a guidebook to bards and rogues. So like prestige classes or whatever for bards and rogues, feats. items, like all those sorts of things specifically for them. And then Hero Builder's Guide, right? And this is just like building characters and has other stuff in it. Yeah. I'm like, where are these things at? You know, lots of tables. Help you build your character, right? Like this thing has like selecting an alignment. What does alignment mean? Relationships to family. You answer questions, right? It has a bunch of information in there for that. Relationship to community, relationship to friends, helps you build a character. Changing an alignment, thoughts on crime and punishment, right? You fill these things out to help you build your character. What you may do to build an ultimate archer. It tells you the ultimate archer preferred race for doing this is elf, half orc, or human. Halflings while too small, blah blah blah. It tells you the best class for it. Tells you the ability scores you should get. Like it's a help for character builder, right? And then same thing like that would be. I thought these books were super cool. I worry about my my 5e level 9 rogue because I play regularly with ranged attackers, but be balanced with poison and anti-poison crafting. Ah, okay, KLV. Yeah, because I mean, a level 9 rogue is pretty good. I mean, at that point, you have evasion and you have uncanny dodge. So, like, your survivability isn't bad. Your deck saves through the roof. If you took resilient con, like, most of your saves are solid. I first learned some great folk songs from Bart's Handbook. Let's go. I wasn't here when you told us how you met them at Gen Con and joined. Can you tell us again in some cases? I missed it. Absolutely. So Louise and I, if you didn't know, I did a 2-hour interview with Louise. And so we had already talked beforehand, like, yo, you're going to be there. Let's meet up. And so I spent a lot of time with Louise. We hung out 4 or 5 times. Louise is fantastic. Great person through and through. Great conversations. Genuine, supportive, very kind. So we hung out several times, so it's hard to say like met him, like you know, first bumped into him, said hello at the start playing party Thursday night, and then hung out multiple times since then. Robbie was also at the start playing party. I first caught him. He was walking out the door, and I was like, "Hey, man, this is, you know, not to be that guy, but like, can I get a picture?" He was like, "Absolutely, that's what we're here for." And he took pictures and took a video, which I posted in my Discord of him being like, "What's up, nerdcore nerds? This guy's pretty cool," pointing to me, whatever. Then he ended up coming back later to the group that I was standing with to bum a cigarette from someone, and then just hung out and talked with us for 15 minutes as if we were just like dudes. It was just dudes talking, just hanging out. Like, it wasn't like he didn't feel like he didn't come across like he was just a celebrity or somebody more important than us. Super cool, chill guy. Robbie was like awesome. Zach was cool. Didn't talk to him as much, but like, you know, said, "Hey, what's up?" He follows me on TikTok and whatnot, so he knows who I am. He was like, "Yo, what's up, man?" And he also knew that I was interviewing him the next morning. That didn't happen. He had a hangover. So chatted a little bit there and then chatted again the day that we're supposed to have the interview later on, where he was like, "Oh, I'll get you back for it, don't worry." And then met Vico also at the start playing party. And they were super kind and very just like, you know, like I was complimenting them on their performance so far in the campaign and all that sort of stuff. And they were very grateful and kind in their response. I also met Neil Newbon, who recognized me and said who I was before I introduced myself, which was incredible. And also just really kind words about my content. Just immediately was complimenting my delivery, my voice, the way that I speak, on camera presence, all that stuff, unprovoked. So that was really cool. I met Deborah Wild, aka Lazelle. I met Christian Navarro. I met Theo Solomon, aka Will. I met Mayana Beren. Yeah. I met a lot of people. I met Jenny D, who I've kind of met before, I think, but yeah, I met Chris Perkins. Yeah. Which channel is Louise on or Robbie? They're both on Critical Role, Jay. Robbie Daymond, ZachTheBold or Zachary Ronaldo, and Luis Carazo. So hopefully that answers everything, Gabby. And if you guys who have been here since the start of the stream have heard that 4 times, I apologize, but that's just the way it goes. My current DM's policy is at level 10, the enemies are more tactical and will swing on you, finish off. That's valid. Once you get, you know, it's kind of like, hey, higher level. I also think it's like a matter of intelligence, and like, are they your sworn enemy? Are they going to try to finish you off, right? Like, there's a little bit of thought to it. I think instead we get Star Wars. Oh, instead of those books? No. And I posted a whole short in response to somebody on TikTok, so you might not have seen it. They hired new people specifically for, so maybe you were joking about that, I don't know, specifically for this stuff. Like they hired more people. Remember a couple months ago, it was they hired like 4 or 5, 6 new people. Because they wanted this to be additive. Like the head of D&D has said it, other people have said it, like the WoW stuff is not taking away, it's just additive, which is why we know they're putting out, they announced all these other books that are coming out, right? We're getting multiple books a year and the WoW thing. And then we'll get multiple books and then we'll get the Star Wars thing, right? So when it comes to that, it's not, because I've seen plenty of people who are like, we don't want Star Wars, so why are you not doing that instead of making some other book? And it's like, but they are making the other stuff. They're making more of the other stuff than they are these Beyond Universes things, right? Like for every 3 or 4 books of normal D&D worlds and things, they're doing Universes Beyond. Now, it may not always stay to that ratio. We don't know, but yeah. Do you think they'll come up with a new class? Artificer is the last one, I think. Do you think it would be more martial, half caster, full caster? I think it is unlikely. We are going to get Scion back, right? Because that's big in settings they've announced already. So there are things that they've already had. An altogether new class is harder to do. And I talk about it in my interview. So if you want information, there were kind of response to it. My interview that I did with Wes and McKenzie, where I think the title and the thumbnail has something to do with Hexblade, that's touched on in there, where they basically explain that it's harder to do an altogether new class that you couldn't say, well, technically that could just be another version of a fighter. That could be another version of a barbarian. That could be another version of a rogue. When you could just make it, right? Let the person pick like the main core and then build out from there in different directions is the whole idea. And so that's why they don't do new classes very often, because they're kind of like, does it really have its own identity, or could it just be this other thing? Oh, I didn't know that, Piratey. Hold on. Do you all right, answer that. We're really cool if they could do that with the newer stuff. In my game, I only allow magic items by 3-5 level. I separate them from the party by gatekeepers, higher parts of the city or item broker that is trapped, and release it black market later. Druidical is best Daggerheart class. You think so? Yo, what's up, Sherry? How's the food? Expensive. I actually didn't eat that much, to be honest, while I was there. I really didn't eat that much. And shout out to one of the guys there. So there were 4 of us staying together. Skookill Billy, aka Dave. He's another content creator. Who does a lot of skits. Frecky, who's another content creator who posts all sorts of wild stuff. And then Sloan, who was doing a lot of content stuff but kind of stopped. He hasn't posted anything in quite some time. So he's not really trying to do that now. But he kept the place stocked. Like he went like grocery shopping and there was like muffins in the morning and bananas and protein bars and like all that sort of stuff. He'd go get like, yeah, he kept, so shout out to him, because I ate mostly that and then maybe bought food like 1 or 2 other times. GenCon is in Indianapolis. I had such a positive time. Yeah, it was a good time. Everything, man. My mouth was open the whole time you talked. Had no idea you were good pals with Louise. You're so great. Well, that's so. I would say leaving. I think he and I both consider each other legitimate friends now, which is awesome. Emma, what's up? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm getting to this late. I hope you're still here. I just saw you're online. Can't stay, but great hearing all the stories from the thing. Looking forward to getting the hounds back together. Let's go. Yeah, I was happy with the D&D announcement. Even the WoW seems pretty awesome. Yeah. I do want to figure out about that, because my one negative I would say would be if it was all just the WoW stuff, I'd be like, okay, makes sense. Like if you want to kind of have that stuff, you get it. But if it's like, oh, you want the new version of the Swashbuckler, which has nothing to do with WoW, well, you have to buy that book. That feels like a tactical thing, which I understand from the business perspective, but I can also understand people being upset about it from the player perspective, where it's like, so I'm supposed to get this book that has a bunch of stuff I don't want because you threw in a subclass that is the like most popular rogue subclass. I can understand that logic. But nobody will ever believe that I said that because I'm a Wizards of the Coast shill. So I'm not somebody who ever questions anything or says anything. So I feel like I'm one of the few people. I know I'm not, but a lot of people don't seem like Star Wars. No, it's just people who are having a hard time where they think like they're comparing it to like universes beyond stuff from Magic the Gathering. But that's also drastically different. When you sit down and play a game at EDH, you have no idea what people are using and what's in the game. You don't decide, right? Like you don't like the person across. You're running a Spider-Man Transformers deck, and they're running a Final Fantasy The Hobbit deck, and they've also threw in a, I don't know what else is there, a Pokemon or something, right? And you're like, what is this? It's just all mixed up and crazy. And then D&D is so different. Not using the Star Wars book is no different than saying, hey, I don't allow Tasha's stuff at my table. I don't allow the Star Wars book at my table. I don't allow the, right? Like that's, it's them putting out a book for it. You just don't use it. We say that for everything else. People always say that stuff for everything else. Run your table the way you want. Do this the way you want. They put out a book for World of Warcraft, and people are like, oh, they're putting World of Warcraft in my game. The Star Wars. And it's like, dog, just don't use it. Just don't use the book. It's just such a weird thing. Join us then. Yeah, join the Discord, guys. Join the Discord. I feel like I do way less little spiels these days, but if you like the content, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Helps get more of in your algorithm, and you should want that. Also, if you want to support me doing this and trying to stay full-time while doing it, consider becoming a member here on YouTube. Takes away ads, so you won't get ads anymore, and it supports me doing this. Or become a patron over on my Patreon, linked down below, or buy some merch. I've got merch down there too. Shout out to the 2 people who bought some recently. Daniel, somebody bought one after you. I have no idea who it is, so if it's one of you, please say something, but I don't know who it is. I know their real name because it was on the information, but I don't know who it is in here, but somebody else bought a shirt. Fun fact. And I don't want to alarm you guys, but they may be special edition shirts because I might be altering my logo. Like, I'm not like rebranding. I'm still nerdcore. I'm still sticking to the same color scheme. But there's a part of me that wants to change my logo. Thank you. I'm so tired of old head whining over new products. Yeah, I made a little skit video about it, like calling people out, and not everybody loved it, and that's fine. But people also take it and expand it out to people who I don't say. Like, I'll specifically say something like, I'm talking about the people who did this when this happened and said why. And then somebody will come on and be like, oh, so, and I'm like, no, I said that specific, like those people. So why are you applying it to those? Like, but you can't, yeah. I think a play on the infamous open sign would be good. No, it's still like my logo. Like, I don't know. Maybe I could show you guys the mock-up. Just to get your thoughts, but yeah. Oh wait, I have it up here somewhere, I think. Was das? Dragon Drake, thank you for the $5 super chat. Odd question. If you said no Star Wars book but allowed Xanathar, is there swashbucklers came from? Would you still? Absolutely. Absolutely. No question. Yeah. Yeah, so if Star Wars was the one that had it, because Star Wars isn't the one with swashbuckler. But yeah, because you can play 5e stuff in 5.5. So I have no problem with that. Where somebody's like, hey, I don't have the book. Can I just run the thing? Valid. Now, any game I run, people will be able to use one if they want, because as long as I'm a part of this and they send me like a book and I get access to stuff, like if I'm running a game, people can use it. Yeah. Sorry, this question is unrelated. Spamuel, it is back. Thank you for the subscription there, Benetoit. They're back on the 27th. Spamuel. Also, hello, Texas Toast. All right, what was I doing here? I wanted to show you guys this. Wrong thing. Nope. Yes. Boom. Okay. So it's a super simple thing. This is what I was leaning towards. Was something like that, like a simple, I think it's, so again, I have things in the works. This is something easier to put into other stuff, in terms of like logo and whatnot. I'm not 100% set on it yet, but this is where I'm looking when it comes to a refresh of my logo. This is where I'm leaning with it. Yeah. Nothing set in stone, but compared to, I mean, you guys know. Hold on. Here, I'll just put them next to each other. Oh, now it's all messed up. So this is what it would be changing from, right? Right here, if I decide to do it. All right, let me read up in the chat. All right. Reading the chat, especially with the my book, server book. Hopefully, AoU starts on time this week. Oh, true. Old one looks more sports, new one looks more tech. Yeah, but like, what am I? The sports and tech. Like, what are we talking about? Double check that I spelled Xanathar is correct, but then look to make sure I wrote WoW instead of Star Wars. It happens. What is the most niche fandom that you're a part of, or one that you assume people know about the least? Probably Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like, people know about Star Wars. I love Star Wars. People know about Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings. People know about Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. So probably, yeah. Let's get a VPN logo, but I don't. Yeah, I just feel like it's simple enough. It's easy to implement into other stuff. My original one here, harder to implement into stuff. Very easy to implement into stuff. Oh, the gradient and all that, the color on the word here for nerdcore? Is what you're saying? Toast? Maybe we have nerd and core with one word vertical and one horizontal. Huh. Interesting parody. That's fair. That is nice. Yeah, I don't know. I'm torn. Yeah, Jay, I hear you on that. I don't know how much more detail I want to add in terms of that, and like the, one of the reasons I like it, again, that it's simple, it's clean, easy to apply to different stuff, make a part of other things, because some of the stuff that I'm launching is like this by Nerdcore, or this presented by, or this as part of Nerdcore, this presented by Nerd. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is easier, I think, to do that with than that. But I don't know. Part of me is like, F it, you've had this for a year and a half, just stick with what you have. And the other part of me is like, change it. Other one is real loud. Yeah. Needs more character somehow. Yeah, I wonder if, again, outlining the white text may help with giving it a little bit more pizzazz, but yeah. Make the best logo? I mean, I could. More important. I like simple. I don't want it to be overly flashy. I want it to be easily recognizable, easily put on other things, made a part of things. Yeah. Logos under mic. Well, yeah, I'd have to get, again, my mic thing. I ripped up one of my business cards. Like, it's just glued on. It's just literally a business card that I glued on to my mic. The other thing, so if you guys saw my video, and I know we're getting close to time, about how I want Nerdcore to be more and do more, I want to cover more nerdum stuff. I want to cover Warhammer news. I want to cover Magic news. I want to cover video game news. I want to write, like, I want to expand out. I want to do more things. So I also can't create a bunch of stuff that's like all dice centered. That's all D&D centered, right? That's all. I have to make things that can kind of appeal in general versus like everything is TTRPG related or Dungeons and Dragons, or everything is Critical Role related, right? So I have to like have something that kind of fits all of it. But yeah, I know we're basically there. See you on Discord anytime. If yeah, guys, join the Discord if you haven't already. Cyber dress code. Oh, fair, Baxter. Yeah. But we'll see. I'm gonna hear some of the feedback on that. Token stuff for Magic are all kind of the same. Yeah, but again, it's wider than that. I get it, but like I want things to stand out. Nerdcore is supposed to like where it's nerd. But yeah, guys, tomorrow was one of my new projects I'm going to be putting out. Again, it's not the craziest thing in the world. It's not gonna like blow all y'all's minds, but I would love the support. I will post that tomorrow. Definitely check it out. And then there's more stuff on the horizon. I am trying to make this more, be able to do it for longer. Make this my living. So I have ideas and I'm pushing those ideas and creating things. And I'm putting a lot of work the last couple of days, lots of emails and reaching out and talking to this and having this made and having that yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your night. I will see you guys in the next one.